Yesterday, rumours of a SpaceX IPO. Today, Elon Musk commenting indirectly for the first time, writing as usual, Eric is accurate. This in response to Eric Berger, who, by the way, wrote an excellent book on SpaceX early days. It's also on Audible. Check it out. Highly recommended. Really interesting read, at least if you're a space nerd or want to hear behind the scenes stuff relating to the company. He posted an article, which we'll read, with the caption, "Here's why I think SpaceX is going public soon." Now, Musk has clearly read this, or at least skimmed it, and agrees that the premise of the article is accurate. That's almost certainly confirmation of both an IPO and the reasoning as to why the company would go public. So, let's read this article. After years of resisting it, SpaceX now plans to go public. Why? And here's a quote. "Much of the AI race comes down to amassing and deploying assets." If you're a regular viewer, you'll see in the recent videos about the data centers in space, the AI satellites, essentially. We talked about this recently. If not, go watch some recent videos. I'm sure that'll be discussed in this. This is what we're talking about regarding deploying assets. Because a lot of people at first glance are like, hang on, what the fuck does SpaceX have to do with the AI race? Don't they make rockets? Isn't that what? Being able to cost-effectively launch a absolutely enormous orbital fleet of AI satellites, and then eventually not even to launch them from Earth, but have them on the moon, manufactured and launched via a massive railgun. I'm sure we'll get to that in the article. Bro, SpaceX is planning to raise tens of billions of dollars through an initial public offering next year. Multiple outlets have reported, and again, now Musk has commented on this. So, I mean, he didn't say we're not IPOing. IPO confirmed. This represents a major change in thinking from the world's leading space company and its founder, Elon Musk. Now, just a quick aside here for those who are unaware, Musk has commented many times about how painful it is to be a publicly traded company. There's a lot of bullshit, attacks, lawsuits. It's not worth the hassle unless you absolutely must. He's been very much against this idea, but more recently he's actually been open to, you know what, yeah, maybe SpaceX does IPO. But he knows this is going to be very painful, so it's coming out of necessity. The Balls Deep Journal and the information first reported about a possible IPO last Friday, and Doomberg followed with a report on Tuesday, suggesting the company would target a $1.5 trillion valuation. Again, as I record this, it's more than Tesla's currently valued. Absolutely astronomical. This would allow SpaceX to raise in excess of $30 billion. This is an enormous amount of funding. The largest IPO in history occurred in 2019 when the state-owned Saudi Arabian oil company began public trading as Aramco and raised $29 billion. In terms of revenue, Aramco is a top 5 company in the world. Now SpaceX is poised to potentially match or exceed this value. That SpaceX would be attractive to public investors is not a surprise. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. It's the world's dominant space company in launch, space-based communications, and much more. For investors seeking unlimited growth, space is the final frontier. These are the words. I'm sorry, couldn't help myself. But why would Musk take SpaceX public now, at a time when the company's revenues are surging thanks to the growth of the Starlink internet constellation? Now, this is a good question. Starlink is printing money, growing at a ridiculous rate, funding the company and then some. Eric continues, the decision is surprising because Musk has, for so long, resisted going public with SpaceX. This is also accurate. Now, before we read on, I'll throw a few potential answers to why now. Number one, just out of the goodness of his heart, Elon wants to give supporters an opportunity to invest in this phenomenal company despite all the pain that will come with it. Maybe that's part of the reasoning. That would be an example of Musk taking one for the team. He knows how desperate people like you and I are to invest in SpaceX. The only other reasonable possibility that I can think of is that despite the fact that Starlink is growing at a stupid rate and printing billions of dollars and just going to continue to print money like you can't fucking believe, it's still not enough to move aggressively forward with the rapid, wide-scale deployment of, let's just call them AI data centers in space. Therefore, this is necessary to provide enough capital to go absolutely fucking berserk building out this AI orbital infrastructure. Let's continue. He has not enjoyed the public scrutiny of Tesla and feared that shareholder desires for financial return were not consistent with his ultimate goal of settling Mars. Data centers. There's that fucking word. Again, I remind you, Musk has commented on this. Eric is accurate, so let's continue. Ars spoke with multiple people familiar with Musk and his thinking to understand why he would want to take SpaceX public. A significant shift in recent years has been the rise of artificial intelligence, which Musk has been involved in since 2015 when he co-founded OpenAI. He later had a falling out with his co-founders and started his own company, XAI, in 2023. At Tesla, he's been pushing smart driving technology forward and more recently focused on robotics. Musk sees a convergence of these technologies in the near future, which he believes will profoundly change civilization. Raising large amounts of money in the next 18 months would allow Musk to have significant capital to deploy at SpaceX as he influences and partakes in this convergence of technology. Now, in fairness, I suspect SpaceX could have actually raised this capital without going public. I mean, hey Ron, what's up, bro? Make a few phone calls, $30 billion. I don't think it would have been a problem. Maybe that's not where it ends. Or maybe this is just a nice thing for Musk to do to allow people to get a slice of this enormous opportunity. How can SpaceX play in this space? In the near term, the company plans to develop a modified version of the Starlink satellite to serve as a foundation for building data centers in space. Musk said as much on the social media network he owns X in late October. Quote, SpaceX will be doing this, but using a next generation Starlink satellite manufactured on Earth is just the beginning of his vision. Quote, the level beyond that is constructing satellite factories on the moon and using a mass driver, an electromagnetic railgun, to accelerate AI satellites to lunar escape velocity without the need for rockets. We discussed this recently. Musk's most insane idea ever. And it's not insane because it's impossible. It's insane because he's fucking serious. Quote, that scales to greater than 100 terawatts a year of AI and enables non-trivial progress toward becoming a Kardashev 2 civilization. Based on some projected analyses, SpaceX is expected to have in the neighborhood of 22 to 24 billion in revenue next year. That's a lot of money. It's on par with NASA's annual budget, for example, and SpaceX can deploy its capital far more efficiently than the government can. So the company will be able to accomplish a lot, but with a large infusion of cash, SpaceX will be able to go much faster. And it will take a lot of cash to design and build the satellites and launch the rockets to deploy data centers in space. By the way, just a quick note here. I mean, it took Blue Origin a decade for their first successful landing of an orbital class booster, 10 years behind the pace. SpaceX today has an unmatched cost to launch mass to orbit. They're currently developing Starship, which is going to dramatically reduce the cost of mass to orbit further. The ultimate goal for Starship, colonize Mars. This project is going to send launch volume via SpaceX, no pun intended, to the fucking moon. This is going to accelerate Starship, print more money for the company. Oh, and by the way, much like Starlink is the dominant global internet constellation, it's not even close. Why? Because of the massive launch cost advantage SpaceX has. The same is going to be true of AI data centers in space. The biggest cost is going to be launching the fucking things. I mean, holy fuck. This is going to be crazy. The growth for SpaceX, the revenues, I mean, I'm going to say it, if you thought NVIDIA was absolutely wild over the last half a decade, you ain't seen nothing yet. The bottleneck for AI the next few years is going to be massive constraints on energy and training compute. If you have free energy from the sun 24/7, you've solved the biggest bottleneck. You better believe this project is going to be the biggest fucking thing anyone has seen, possibly ever. I'm not kidding. A long-time former SpaceX employee, apparently, believes that once Musk realized Starlink satellites could be architected into a distributed network of data centers, the writing was on the wall. Quote, that is the moment an IPO suddenly came into play after being unlikely for so long. If you have followed Elon's tactics, you know that once he commits to something, he leans fully into it. Much of the AI race comes down to amassing and deploying assets that work quicker than your competition. A large war chest resulting from an IPO will greatly help his cause and disadvantage all others. Foremost among Musk's goals right now is to win the battle for artificial intelligence. He's already attacking the problem at XAI and Tesla, and now he seeks to throw SpaceX into the fray as well. Now, I just have to take another quick detour here. Remember recently Musk said, Tesla, we might just need to build a gigantic fucking chip fabrication plant. Motherfuckers. He also said on the record that he believes longer term Tesla could produce more AI chips than the rest of the world combined. So let me join the dots. If AI data centers are going to happen in space, they will. That's a lot of chips that will be required. And if SpaceX IPOs raises $30 billion and goes absolutely fucking ballistic with these things, between Tesla being their own customer for the vehicles, the robots, which again will scale into the millions very quickly, and SpaceX with, obviously, there's going to be millions of these things as well. I suspect Tesla's chip fabrication plant is going to go from idea to wafer starts in world record time for a chip fabrication plant. I mean, bro, the way these things are converging, Holy fuck. Taking SpaceX public and using it to marshal an incredible amount of resources shows he is playing to win. What about Mars? Musk founded SpaceX in 2002 with the goal of one day settling Mars. He has never wavered from that goal. And indeed, the company has made considerable progress in more than 2 decades. SpaceX now launches, just listen to this, it's so outrageous. More than 90% of the world's mass to orbit, has nearly 90% of the satellites in orbit, and backstops a large portion of the US government's civil and military activities in space. Moreover, with Starship, SpaceX is building the first vehicle that could realistically send humans and a lot of the stuff humans need to survive to Mars one day. But if Musk's rationale for keeping SpaceX private was to protect the Mars dream, is he abandoning this long-standing... I mean, I can answer this question, bro. The more money that SpaceX prints, the more money for Mars. Not necessarily, he writes. It's likely that Musk sees artificial intelligence as a key part of the Mars mission. Whether one believes the Optimus robot will become a viable product or not, Musk does, and he's spoken about sending the robots to Mars to make the way smoother for the first human settlers. Musk also believes that a larger and more financially robust SpaceX is necessary to undertake the settling of Mars. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. The more money this company prints, the more money for Mars. He understands that NASA will not pay for this, as the civil space agency is in the business of exploration and not settlement. For several years now, he has expressed that it will require about 1 million tons of supplies to be shipped to Mars to make a self-sustaining settlement. This is roughly 1,000 ships, and including refueling, at least 10,000 Starship launches. At $100 million per launch, that's $1 trillion in launch costs alone. Musk has frequently expressed a concern that there may be a limited window for settling Mars. And anyone who is familiar with the fossil record will understand what he's talking about. Perhaps financial markets collapse. Perhaps there's a worse scamdemic. Perhaps a large asteroid hits the planet. I mean, that is absolutely inevitable at some point. On what timescale is the only question. It's not if, but when. Anyone who's confused about this, get a telescope and look at the surface of the moon. The whole thing, the whole surface is impact craters because Earth is geologically active. We've got weather as well. The craters don't last as long on Earth, but just look at the moon through a telescope. The whole thing, peppered with impacts. Taking SpaceX public now is a bet that he can marshal the resources now, during his lifetime, to make Mars City 1 a reality. He is 54 years old. The plan is not without risks, of course. If AI is something of a bubble, 10 years from now, SpaceX may be sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of satellites in space, for which there is limited use. Maybe shareholders would rather SpaceX make them multimillionaires than make humans multiplanetary. But Musk has never shied away from risks, so doubling down on his most successful asset in this moment is precisely what one would expect him to do, writes Eric. By the way, again, definitely check out his book. Wait, books? Hang on a fucking minute. Did he write a new one that I missed? Son of a fucking bitch. About a year ago, he did. Okay, so I'm going to download this now. I'm assuming it's on Audible as well. And Liftoff was the one I was referring to about the early days of SpaceX. Now again, Musk commented on this. Eric is accurate. So SpaceX IPO confirmed. Company's going to, let's just be honest here, print crazy money like you've never seen before. It'll take a little while to start ramping up, but holy fuck, dude. This is going to be outrageous. And now Tesla is going to have one of their biggest AI chip customers banging on their door for as much supply as Tesla can make. Here's a leaked image of the new relationship developing between Tesla and SpaceX. Wouldn't have it any other way. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.